Hey everybody, welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. I'm very excited that you're here today. We're going to talk about, just grabbing my notes here, we're going to talk about speaking engagements. And it's an interesting topic because it's not what we think it is. It's not what we think it is. And it took me a while to figure this out, but I'm very excited to talk to you about this today and to explain how to really get the juice out of this. All right. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, I'm Belinda Sandor, and I'm the founder of the VA Connection, where I coach and mentor established and aspiring virtual assistants to create, grow, and scale their virtual assistant businesses. And I do this, I work with my students in our free online community, in our courses, and also our coaching program. So thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. And I'm also the host of Lessons from the Cockpit, where I share tactical and practical information for virtual assistants. And it doesn't matter whether you've been in business for a while or you're just thinking about joining this fabulous profession. So hello, everybody. Thank you for coming on in. We've got Sherry, good morning. Hello from Frisco, Texas. I bet that's Michelle. Hello from Fort Lauderdale. Hello from Manhattan. Hello from Pennsylvania. And hello. Yes, hello, everybody. Hello. It's good to see you all. It's good to see you all. All right. So keep telling me where you're coming in from in the comments. That's one of my favorite parts. So today, like I said, we're going to talk about speaking engagements. We're going to talk about speaking engagements. Before we dive into that, though, I want to introduce myself. Okay, I want to introduce myself, and I want to tell you. I want to tell you a little bit about my journey because I think that it will definitely be helpful. So I started my path as a virtual assistant in 2010. It was a scary time for me. It was an uncertain time. You know, I'm trying to find the right word to describe this because I used to say, I'm trying to remember what I used to say, but it's like it was overwhelming. It was scary. It was uncertain, and for me, that is very uncomfortable. You know, I like to plan. I like to know what's going on, and the thing is that one of the ways that I sort of keep myself in my box, is how I kind of think about it, like tucked in and feeling safe, is that I have goals and I set goals for myself. And you know, I had goals for, you know, turning 30, I had goals for turning 40, and I definitely had goals for turning 50. And, you know, looking back, the things that I thought I would have when I was turning 50 was, you know, I figured I'd be happily married, you know, I'd own a home, have a good job. You know, I'd been working since my 40s for saving for retirement. And I thought, you know, that would be well underway. You know, I thought I would be happy. I thought I would have a lot of things figured out. I put a lot of pressure on 50, and what I had was really kind of the polar opposite. So I'm getting divorced. I don't have a job. I have a ton of debt. There's no retirement savings left. In fact, I owe more than what I have. I also had to move 3 times in 4 years, which was very stressful and expensive. And I had all these back taxes to pay. And it was crazy. So I had a business that failed. I had an online store, and in many ways it was successful. But I got to tell you guys, if you're ever thinking about going into a business where you need inventory, think about that again, because it's very difficult to manage. And so here I am in this huge mess with all of this debt, this failed business, no job, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And the thing about it that I look back now, and it's almost like I'm looking, you know, like when you're 40, you look back in your 30s, you're like, what was I thinking about? You know, now that I'm 62, looking back to 50, it's like, what was I thinking about? You know, I thought it was too late to start over. I thought I was just going to have to, like, you know, push my way through the rest of my life, which is not true at all. And I was able to climb on top of all of this. And the thing is that, and I've been thinking a lot about this because I've told some of you guys that I've been writing a chapter in in a book. It's a compilation book, and I'm telling my story, and I've been working on it for a bajillion hours, and I'm still working on it. And the thing about it is that I had to really think through, like how I got here, and out of the sort of the ashes, and the thing about it is that the whole core is that I stopped looking outside of myself and I started looking inside of myself for what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be, and stopped worrying about what people were thinking about me. And I bring that up because it is at the core of the whole thing, was wanting to be a virtual assistant, wanting to do admin work, wanting to help people. And that wasn't really always valued. In my upbringing, it was more like be the executive, and I didn't want to do that. So anyway, I decided, when I quieted the noise, I decided I wanted to do admin work. I'd always loved it. I was pretty good at it. And so I just started telling everybody, and my first client I got at the school bus stop. My second client I got in a buffet line at a wedding. And so what I want you to know is that your clients are going to come in these, incidental ways that are not predictable and often not replicatable, except for the fact that at the core is telling everyone about your business. So if you're prospecting and you're trying to figure it out, I want you to use your brain less for that and more for creating friendly relationships where you can tell people what you're up to, because that's gonna move the needle. All right. So if we fast forward, I've been in business. My business is called Rocket Girl Solutions since 2010. I've worked with over 225 clients, and I've made $1 million as a virtual assistant over 10 years. And the thing about it is that you can absolutely do it from a corner of your house. I have an office now, which I love, but up until 2010, so for the first 10 years, I was working in part of my bedroom, part of my living room, part of my dining room. And it really can be done if you follow the simple steps that I teach you guys to make this happen. Okay, good. And here's what it looks like today. So I have an expanded family. This is my husband, Greg. We've been married almost 2 years. And these are our kids. So David, Charlie, Emily, Stephen, and Andy, all here on our wedding day. So I have my breath back. I have, my finances under control. The taxes are working their way out, and they're almost all paid for. It took a long time to do that, but I started to lean into it and to take myself seriously and keep my word to myself. That was really at the core. Really at the core. All right. So let's dive into this. All right. So speaking engagements can be really scary. Now, the first speaking engagements I had, I don't know why I started. It was kind of an interesting thing. I think it ties back to listening to myself, because I remember thinking, I don't want to do this at all. I really am not good at it. And the other thing I thought was, but there was this voice inside me that said, you need this for your next step. You need this for your next step. I had no idea what that next step was, which is this step that we're in right now, being the founder of the VA Connection and speaking all the time. But I had no idea. So I went into it really scared. And how I first started was I had a freebie. It was called The 7 Biggest Mistakes Small Business Owners Make When Trying to Grow Their Business. And so what I did was I made a presentation in PowerPoint, and each mistake was a step, or each mistake was a slide. And I walked through it, and I kind of had the language already because I had a small paragraph after each one. And I thought about it, and I relied heavily on visuals, which I do now. I rarely get in front of the camera without a PowerPoint slide in front of me. And it just, it helps me feel calm, because it's an aid that is commonly used, right? It's commonly used. So what I did was, I stood up in front of the room and I gave my talk, and I was pretty nervous. I didn't want anyone to know that I was doing this. I didn't want anyone I knew in the audience, because I thought that would make it really hard and I would feel really judged. And the thing about it was that it went okay. And I took myself off the hook a little bit. After doing it a few times, I thought, stop thinking about this as like being on the stage. think about this more like, information sharing with people who want the information, because that's really what it is. And yes, I wanted to do a good job and I wanted to, provide value. But, when I think about like Brene Brown on the TEDx stage, that's like puts me back in bed, like I can't do that. I can't do that. Right. I don't have that skill. But the thing is that if I just think about it as people showing up for information that I've advertised that I know, which I did know, I took time to, figure it out and learn it, that it would be okay. So the one thing, so we're not going to talk so much about what kind of talk to give, but what we're going to talk about is how to make the most of this, because most of the juice comes after the engagement is over. All right, that's not intuitive, right? You think it's all about that moment in front of people. And yes, that's important, but that's not how you make the biggest impact. Okay. Now, one of the things that you need to know is you have to practice your talk out loud. I 100% did not want to do that. I fought it. I kept thinking, no, I've got it in my head. It'll be fine. It won't be fine. All right. It won't be fine. So even if you have to go lock yourself into the, a bedroom in the basement and, so that no one will hear you, because I was so afraid that people in my family were going to hear me, which is hysterical. But that was my big thing. So definitely practice out loud. All right. And you need to think about your talk in terms of a path that you're taking your audience down. Right. And think about what you're saying from their point of view. Okay. And so, you want to make sure you're not using jargon, you're explaining things fully. I mean, even a talk like is being a virtual assistant for you. Like I give that talk, fairly often. But the thing is that I have the definition of what's a virtual assistant, because everybody in the room is sitting there thinking something different. So even just bringing everyone, to one place to begin can be critical. All right. So now I want to look at this from a marketing point of view. All right. A marketing point of view and how you can make the most of this. So as soon as you have your first speaking engagement, and actually before that, I want you to think about 2 or 3 topics that you can speak about, and you all have them. I mean, I give talks about how to clean out your email inbox, right? I give talks on, why my newsletter is my secret weapon, things that were very much a part of my virtual assistant business. There's an unlimited amount of things that you can talk about. And people are looking for speakers all the time, in co-working spaces. SCORE is looking for speakers in networking groups. Finding speaking engagements, it's not difficult once you get organized and you spread the word. So here's what I did. So this is my website, Rocket Girl Solutions, and I created a speaking page underneath my services tab. All right. And here's what it says. My presentations focus on showing small business owners how to run their companies more efficiently and effectively. They're available for both associations and organizations. My most popular topics are described below, but if your organization needs something different, just let me know. All programs are custom fit for each engagement. And then click here to contact me to discuss your upcoming event. So you want to make it very friendly and easy, right? And then I had, several talks there that people can choose from. So it just gives them an idea. All right. So you want to sort of establish yourself as a speaker. And here's a simple way to do that. The other way is on your VA profile, your LinkedIn profile is, you can put virtual assistant and then the vertical line, speaker, if you really want to get into this. Okay, good. So that's one thing to do. Now, the other thing is you're going to want to invite others to your event on social media. And I'll tell you that even though I was really afraid to have people that I knew at my events, once I started to have people I knew, it actually calmed me down. Because because the people that know you are usually the ones that are nodding their head like, yeah. And you find the head nodders in the audience, and it's reassuring. It's reassuring. And this all works.
I'm not sure I understand.
Oops, that's my watch talking to me. Let me take that off. So the thing is, all of what I'm about to teach you it works if it's a virtual event or an in-person event. Okay. So here is an event right here that I sent out on social media. I was speaking for SCORE. The topic was, is being a virtual assistant for you? and I sent it out to my, this was on Facebook. So I sent this out to my Facebook audience. You can also send it out on LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever social media platforms that you're using. Excuse me. Yes. All right, here's another one. How to successfully onboard a client. Super simple. There's like 8 things that you do, right? So here I'm speaking at a co-working event, and I'm sharing this again on social media. Here's another example. So some of these I created, like this one I created. This one the co-working space gave me. This one the co-working space gave me. And then I spoke at the last International Association of Virtual Assistants online summit, right? And so I invited our whole community to come and, be a part of it. So the thing is that this is twofold. One is that I'm shining a light on me, like, hey, I'm a speaker. I can talk about this. I'm an expert, right? Expert, air quote. The other is to promote the organization that you're speaking at. They love that. They want that. Some of them expect that. So don't be surprised, if they give you, graphical images such as this, so that you can share this with your audience. That's kind of part of the deal. All right, good. Now, here's another example of this. So let's just jump up for a minute. So what we're doing here is we're definitely inviting people to our speaking engagements, but there's an underlying thought here, okay? And the underlying thought is that you want people to know you're a speaker because it elevates you in terms of expertise, right? Because being a speaker could mean you're confident, you're self-assured, you have a topic you can talk about, you're sharing, you're generous. Like there's a lot of attributes that come with being a speaker. And so what you're doing is by telling people that you're a speaker, you're saying, you're sort of highlighting all of these thoughts in people's mind, or activating is really probably a better word. Now, here's another way to do this if you're not a speaker, right? So this is my client, Bob, and he is going to have, what did he call it? An executive roundtable. So what I did was I took his post on LinkedIn and I shared it. And here's what I wrote. Rocket Girl Solutions client Bob Wiesner will be moderating this panel on October 18th with top business development leaders across numerous sectors. They will discuss the pandemic's impact on business development in 2020, cover projections for 2021, and more. You're invited. So what I'm doing here is I'm helping a client. I'm showing him off, and I'm also showing off what a cool client I have. Wow, she works with really impressive people. I should keep that in mind. All right. So this is how we can use a marketing approach in a very introverted way of sharing the information, being generous, and establishing ourselves as an expert. All right, so that's one side of it, okay? That's the promotional side. So I just want to say hello to everyone who's joined us. So Tammy is here, and also Tammy is in Maine. We've got 2 Tammys here. Good morning. You guys are saying hi to each other. This is great. Stephanie's here from Texas. Frederica is here from sunny Amsterdam. All right. Oh, how do you say that? Zambog. I don't know how. The Philippines. Hello from the Philippines. Yes, it's great for different types of learners. That's right. It's helpful to practice in front of a mirror too. Absolutely. Okay, good. So now I want to talk about what to bring. And I learned this the hard way, all right, because I didn't bring anything, right? And then things break and, or they don't have water, or, because sometimes I speak at libraries at night and, the library is closing as I'm finishing up, all right? So whether it's virtual or in person, you want to have something to drink. Water is a good idea. I always have this tissue right in front of me all day long, right? If I use it, I replenish it. I put a tissue on the podium if I'm speaking in person. The other thing is, let me just grab this. I highly recommend, and I did not do this recently and I got caught, a paper copy of your presentation. I was on Zoom and I couldn't see my slides anymore. And so if I had this, it would have saved me. But here's actually, these. So I rebranded the 7 biggest mistakes and called it Make the Most of, this is 2017. This is old 7 strategies for success. But I just have a handout of all of my slides. All right. So you want that. You want to make sure you have business cards with you, right? Because you want to be able to hand them out. The other thing is I bought myself a clicker that hooks to my laptop. So I generally use my laptop for the presentation, and I have a clicker. So I'm able to turn the slides without going back over to the computer. You're going to want props, so for example, this might be a prop, if I'm telling people about how to stay in touch with people that they know, here's a send out card that I used to send out. And the other thing is, you want to have yes forms. So here, this is actually a folder that I bring to all my speaking engagements. It's all my little props. So this form here, it says, say yes to Rocket Girl. So it says, send me a free copy of my free report, 7 biggest mistakes that I mentioned, sign me up for your newsletter, or schedule a 30-minute free consultation with me. So this is something that I had made up a jillion years ago. I just keep using it. And it's a way for me to hand this out to everybody in the audience, and then I collect them at the end. And generally, pretty much 100% of the people there want to be on the newsletter. Some of them want the free report. And the other thing is that I just want to give you a pro tip here. So a lot of people sign up for a 30-minute, they check the box, sign me up for a 30-minute free consultation. Hardly any of them ever take me up on it. So if that happens, don't take it personally. Now, if you're working, if you're presenting virtually, what you can do if you want newsletter subscribers is there's something called Textiful. Textiful. It's an online app where people can send a text message to you, and it kicks off a sequence. So it'll say on text, it'll say, great, thanks for your interest in Belinda Sandor's newsletter. Please give me your email. Thanks, and you can just walk them through it, and then you can integrate it with either MailChimp, or you can send an email from it thanking them and subscribing them to their newsletter, or giving them the freebie, or whatever it is that you said you're going to do. So check that out. Okay, good. All right, so this is what to have. So we've talked before the event. Now we're talking about during the event, and now I want to talk about after the event. Okay, after the event. Now, this is where the juice comes in. All right, this is where, whoops, all kinds of sounds today. This is where the juice absolutely comes in, and where you get the biggest bang. Okay, so let's talk about that. So the day after, what you're going to want to do is write thank yous in social media. Okay, a big thank you to SCORE and the Mystic Noank Library for hosting me last night to talk about is being a virtual assistant for you. Great group, lots of questions, and quite a few future VAs. I look forward to you joining our Facebook group, and then the link. So here I am. I'm thanking the library. I'm giving them, kudos, and I'm also promoting myself and saying, join my group. Okay. And I'm doing this all over social media. The second thing is this form. So what happens is, no kidding, within 2 days, if I speak with Wednesday night, by Friday before the end of the day, I absolutely email every single person that has given me this form back. You don't want to wait until they don't remember who you are. You want to, when they see your talk and they're excited and they want to connect with you, that's when you want to, do that. And that's the same thing when you go to networking events and you get all that stack of cards from people, they're handing their cards out. You want to connect with them in the same way right away. I want you to think about, these sheets and those business cards as $100 bills, because that's what they are. And a lot of times people blow it off. They go to the networking event, they go to they speak, whatever, they make new contacts, and then they do nothing. Big waste of time. You're better off watching a good movie than going to the networking event. Okay. So, because this is where the juice happens. So what happens is I send an email to every single person who's filled out my yes form. And here's how it goes. Hi, first name. Thank you so much for attending my presentation Tuesday at wherever. I had a really nice time and I enjoyed meeting you. As promised, I've signed you up for my newsletter and have attached the 7 biggest mistakes small business owners make when trying to grow their business. Now, if they say they want the 30-minute strategy session, I give them a link. And if they don't check that box, I still want them to have the link, right? If you change your mind, so here's what I say. If you change your mind and would like to grab some time on my calendar to talk about your business, you can use this link or hit reply and email with me sometimes that work. I look forward to keeping in touch. Best, Belinda. Okay. And notice I didn't say discovery call or work together. It's just grab some time on my calendar to talk about your business. Very casual, right? Very relaxed. No pressure. No pressure. The other thing that I do is when after a speaking engagement and a social media event is that I connect with people on social media, right? So I would look for the people on LinkedIn primarily. Facebook, it depends. It depends on if it depends. When during my speaking engagements for Rocket Girl, I typically just connected with people on LinkedIn. That's where my biggest audience was. But now when I speak about being a virtual assistant, I also reach out on Instagram and Facebook. So that way they're, excuse me, as I'm publishing my newsletter, I'm posting, they're seeing this and we're connecting. And it goes on forever, right? Between the newsletter and social media, and then keep in touch emails. It really is a good system for keeping in touch. All right. So any questions? Anybody thinking, yeah, I'm going to do this. This is going to be so great. Yeah. So this is the same for press. Press is exactly the same way. If you're written up in a magazine, yes, there'll be some bang, that potentially happens after you're in the magazine or in the paper or something like that. But it's really about thank you to the magazine for publishing an article about me. It was so exciting, blah, blah, blah. That's real. It's really this sort of shameless self-promotion that you do in kind of a modest way to really shine the light. Okay, good. And Arlene has joined us. Hello, Arlene. All right, well, put any questions you have in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And I want to tell you about something brand spanking new. You guys are the very first ones to find out about this, okay? We have a brand new training. It's a 5-day training. It's called Kickstart Your VA Business. So it's a little different from the Kickstart Challenge that we've had in the past because it's not just focusing on getting clients. It's really focusing on what to do when you want to start your business. We're going to kick it off on June 19th. Very exciting. My team and I are scurrying around, getting ready, writing the trainings and creating new images and all the things. Now, I think I did this a little prematurely, but I registered the domain this morning, vakickstart.com, and that should take you to the sign up page, but I'm not sure that's even working yet. So if you want to sign up right now, I invite you to go to thevaconnection.com. Click up at the top. You'll see something about Kickstart Your Business, and you can see our brand new sign up page. I'm very excited about it. Mark and I worked like crazy the last week to get it up, and we are going to talk about your services. We're going to talk about getting clients. We're going to talk about all of that. And for those of you who have put VA school in your future and you want to sign up, we'll have enrollment opening up that week as well. So definitely check out Kickstart Your VA Business. I'm very excited about this brand new training that we're rolling out. Okay, good, you guys. So have a great rest of your day. And if you're in the VIP club, I'll see you later on. We're going to have Q&A today. And if you're in a student in VA school, I'll see you guys tonight too. All right, everybody, bye for now.